Hello kiddos of grade 6, how are you? Hope you are great. I am also fine and safe, and once again I am very glad to be back to start textbook questions and answers. See, in the page number 5 of your textbook you have 5 questions for first lesson of our first unit. What is the lesson name? Clever Tenali Ramakrishna. In our previous 2 videos we have finished the lesson. Have you understood the lesson? I hope and I strongly believe that you have gone through the videos and you have understood the best, right? The whole lesson should be in your mind. So it is mainly about Tenali Ramakrishna and Chitravarma and the emperor of Vijayanagara Empire, Sri Krishna Devaraya, and conversation has taken place among these 3 members. Hope everything is remembered for you. Let us move on to the questions. The first one, who was Chitravarma? In page number 5 you can find questions. The first one, who was Chitravarma? Chitravarma was the most famous, the most renowned painter in Sri Krishna Devaraya's empire. So very simple answer. Chitravarma was the most famous painter in Sri Krishna Devaraya's court. Let us move on to the second one. How did Chitravarma feel when the emperor decided to reward him? So before answering this question, let us imagine the situation, in which situation king wanted to reward him. See, one day when Chitravarma was busy painting, it means he was very busy in painting, and king passed through that place when he was painting, and as soon as king saw the paintings of Chitravarma, he was so pleased, he was delighted by seeing the paintings of Chitravarma, and immediately he started praising, he started appreciating Chitravarma for the ability to paint very well. And not only that, he not only praised Chitravarma but also decided to reward him. He also wanted to appoint him or to make him as the chief advisor. So what is the duty of chief advisor? If any problem comes, if any difficult situation comes in the country, they have to solve that with their intelligence, with their presence of mind. They have to solve all the problems. They have to think swiftly, quickly. They have to react. They have to respond in a fast way to solve any problem that comes in the country, in the kingdom. That is their duty. But in the lesson I clearly told that a painter cannot work effectively as the chief advisor. Can a painter effectively work as the chief advisor? I already told examples, right? A cobbler cannot teach lessons. A carpenter cannot work as a computer operator. A painter cannot work as an engineer, right? Because every individual has their own work. They cannot do other works which are not meant for them. See, a carpenter can only do carpenting. A cobbler can only stitch the repaired shoes and slippers. And then a mason can only construct and build the house. A teacher can only teach. So their profession is for them only, for themselves, right? They cannot do others' job, right? Now imagine I am a teacher. Can I build the house? No, I cannot build, because that work is not meant for me. The work that is meant for me is to teach. So I have to do teaching only. But here everything is happening in vice versa. Even though Chitravarma was a painter, the king wanted to make him as the chief advisor. How can he give good advices to the king if he was a good painter? Okay, so that was the situation. And how did Chitravarma feel when emperor decided to reward him? Initially he felt very happy, because as he made king very pleased with his paintings, right? Who made? Chitravarma made king very happy after king had seen his paintings. So he was very grateful, he was thankful, he was very happy, because the king had shown a lot of love and affection over Chitravarma. Initially, But when he realized the truth that he was going to be made as the chief advisor, he was not that happy, because he knows the truth. I am just a good painter. How can I give good advices to the king? I cannot give. He knows the truth. That is why he was not that happy like in the first. Let us move on to the third question. Why did Chitravarma failed as a chief advisor? See, as king decided to make him as the chief advisor, immediately orders have come. What is the announcement that was announced in the entire kingdom? From today onwards, from now onwards, Chitravarma will be the chief advisor for the king. So announcement was over. He was appointed. He took oath as the chief advisor to the king. Many problems came in the country, but he failed to act accordingly. He failed to respond. He failed to resolve the problems, because as I already told, he was just a painter, and a painter cannot be a good advisor, and he also an inexperienced candidate for that job. To be as the chief advisor. He does not have any experience. He had never handled the matters of king's court earlier before in his life, and his decisions were irrelevant. If problem is something, he did not take the action in the correct way in which he can find the solution to that problem. He was unable to take correct decisions to the problems accordingly. He failed. His actions were irrelevant. He does not have any experience, and he had never managed, never handled, never tackled the matters of the court before in his life. And his plans and actions led to confusion. Everybody was puzzled and confused towards his actions after observing the works, the plans, the thoughts and ideas of Chitravarma, because he was not taking correct decisions to set right everything, to resolve the problems. So people were fed up with him, and elders in the kingdom, adults, everyone in the kingdom were very confused and puzzled. That is why Chitravarma failed to act as the chief advisor to the king, Vijayanagara king Sri Krishna Devaraya. Let us move on to the fourth one. Why was the emperor angry with Tenali Ramakrishna? So before writing answer, again we have to go back to the lesson and understand in which situation the emperor became angry. See, one day king made Chitravarma as the chief advisor, but nobody likes that idea. Even Tenali Ramakrishnan on the spot opposed the idea of a painter being appointed as the chief advisor, but king did not listen. He told that as a king, I know whom to appoint in a particular positions, right? Who told? King told. I know very well whom should appoint in a particular respective positions. You need not to say me, be quiet, keep quiet. He ordered Tenali to be quiet. And he at any cost wanted to open the eyes of the kingdom. He wanted to realize the mistake that he had done, right? Who wanted? Tenali wanted king to realize. Who made mistake? King made mistake. What is the mistake? He made a painter as the chief advisor. And if everybody is trying to say, even if he was not at all listening, he was not at all caring them or trying to pay attention towards their words. That is why Tenali decided to do something. He had planned something. The adults of the court went to Tenali and they sought the help. They decided to seek help from Tenali. He assured them that definitely I will make king realize his mistake. He told with the adults, be quiet, don't be worried. Definitely I will make king to know, to realize his mistake. He told with the adults, he told with the elders of the kingdom, and they went away. He planned something. So according to his plan, one day Tenali Ramakrishnan invited king to his son's naming ceremony. So king attended naming ceremony. He gave the gold chain. He put the gold chain around the neck of the Tenali Raman's son, and after that the lunch followed, right? Tenali Ramakrishnan invited the king Sri Krishna Devaraya to have lunch, and the food was served. Many delicious food items were served to Sri Krishna Devaraya, but the foods were very spicy and salty. Very much salt. The large amount of salt is added, and a large amount of chili powder is used while cooking the foods. So it became very dirty. Even though To see it was delicious, but to eat it was very ugly and it was not delicious. How was the food? The food was very, very salty and very, very spicy. See, when Sri Krishna Deva Raya tasted that spicy and salty food, he became angrier, and he also felt that he was insulted by Tenali Ramakrishna. Who was insulted? The king was insulted by Tenali. See, he invited, but he served the foods which were spicy and salty. So that made Sri Krishna Deva Raya to be angrier in the event. In which event? On the occasion of Tenali Raman's son's naming ceremony. So that made angry. The spicy and salty foods which were served to King Sri Krishna Deva Raya on the occasion of Tenali Raman sons made the king angry. So that is possible answer. And even one more question, fifth one is there, that is for you. You have to divide into pairs. Two members should discuss about something. What is that something? See, I am a teacher. If I give the work to do carpenting, or if something like building a house is given to me, can I do that? No, I cannot do that. Right? Every individual can do only the work which he knows, or in the way he was trained to do. So they can only do that works. But how can a person can do others works which are not meant for them? So if any work is assigned to a person that doesn't mean for him, what will happen? See what happened in the lesson. Chief advisor position is not meant for a painter, but it is assigned to him. It is given to him forcibly by the king. What happened? There was a great confusion. His actions, thoughts, plans led to confusion. Everybody became confused. He was not able to take correct decisions. His decisions were irrelevant. These are the things that happened when a correct position was not offered to correct person. So if any person is given a work which is not meant for them, or in which he was not able to do, what will happen? If a mason is given the work of software engineer, what will happen? So if anyone, not only a mason, I am just taking an example, if somebody is given the work which was not meant for them, what will happen? You have to discuss in pairs. Of course, you don't have pair as you are not in the class. Think in home very well and write answer for that question. You have to act as your partner also. You are the first character and you yourself is your partner. You have to write dialogues, person 1, person 2. What will happen if something irrelevant work is given to a particular person who cannot do that work, right? So that question should be written on your own. Do that at your own risk. And these are the possible answers for textbook questions. And let us move on to workbook questions. There are 3 paragraphs for this lesson. Clever, Tenali, Ramakrishna. So open your materials, page number 20. There you can find paragraph questions for the same lesson. The first paragraph. As I am reading the first one, just open the materials. He had never handled the matters of the court before. His decisions were irrelevant, not suitable decisions, not correct decisions. His conclusions, it means his final decisions lacked sense. It means being intelligent, he did not take the decisions, right? He was not taking correct decisions. He was unable to act according to the situation. So what happened? People became very impatient. They lost their patience. But emperor did not change. He continued Chitravarma in the same position. He supported Chitravarma. But elders, they did not want a painter Chitravarma to be the king's advisor. So they sought the help of king's jester, the court of the jester. Who is the jester in the court? Tenali Ramakrishna. So they wanted to take help of Tenali, and when they reached Tenali, he assured them, he guaranteed them, yes, surely I have an idea, I will make King Krishna Deva Raya to realize his mistake. Right? So this is the concept in the paragraph, and let us move on to the questions. Who was he? The word first. The word he is in first line, right? He had never handled the matters. Here the word he refers to Chitravarma, right? The word he refers to Chitravarma. And let us move on to the second one. Why did the elders go to Tenali? Right? The elders went to Tenali to seek help or to seek help from Tenali. To remove Chitravarma. To remove Chitravarma from the position of chief advisor. From the position of See, this is the reason why elders of the kingdom went to or approached the jester of the court Tenali, because they want to take help from Tenali. See, they can go directly to the king and they can inform about Chitravarma. Your Majesty, Chitravarma is unfit to be your advisor. He cannot take wise decisions. So please remove him. They wanted to make this request, but king will not pay attention towards their words. King won't listen whatever they say, whatever the elders say. That is the reason why they did not go to king directly. So instead of going to the king directly, they went to Tenali's residence and they were taking help from Tenali to remove Chitravarma from which position? From the position of chief advisor. Who was the chief advisor? Chitravarma. But he is unfit for that. He cannot fulfill the needs for that position. He cannot act or he cannot take wise decisions if a problem comes. Everybody knows that. That is why they wanted to remove Chitravarma from that position. That is why they wanted to take help from Tenali. So the elders went to Tenali's house. Let us move on to the third question. Who was Tenali? Tenali was a jester, a poet and jester. Tenali was a poet and jester in King Krishnadevaraya's court. Tenali was a poet and jester. What is the word meaning jester? Meaning of the jester is nothing but a person who tells jokes and funny stories. Okay. So he is a poet and jester in the court of Vijayanagara. Let us move on to fourth question. What did Tenali tell them? Tenali told them not to worry. So here them refers to the elders of the kingdom, the elders of the empire. They came to ask help. Dear Tenali, you have to make a plan. You have to plan something to remove Chitravarma from that position because he cannot take wise decisions. So plan something. They requested Tenali, and what did Tenali say to them? Tell them in return. So when they asked help, Tenali assured them not to worry, and he had an idea. Right? Tenali told them not to worry, and he had an idea to remove Chitravarma. To remove Chitravarma from his position. Which position? Chief advisor position. Let us move on to the fifth question. E. Locate the word which says gave them confidence. So answer for last question. The word that means gave them confidence. See, assured is answer for fifth one. Assured means Tenali assured the elders. It means he gave them confidence. Don't worry, I am there. I will take action against Chitravarma. I have a plan. With that plan, definitely I can make king to be able to realize his mistake, and he will remove Chitravarma from the position of chief advisor. Don't worry, right? He gave confidence to them. So the word assured means to give confidence. Let us move on to the next paragraph in the same page. Here dialogues between Chitravarma, Ramakrishna and Sri Krishna Devaraya. So go through the passage once, twice, thrice before answering. As time being, I am going to paragraph questions directly. So come back to page number 21. There you can find paragraph questions for the second paragraph. Okay children, second paragraph, first question. Why could not Ramakrishna complete his dialogue? If you observe the last dialogue in the previous page, Tenali Ramakrishna's dialogue is given only half. Would it be right to make a painter to make? See, they have stopped the dialogue. Tenali Ramakrishna did not complete his dialogue. Would it be right to make? That's all. He had told only half. Actually, he should have told, would it be right to make a painter as the chief advisor? He wanted to question the king. He wanted to ask the king, Your Majesty, will it be right to make a painter as your advisor? But full question is not given. Would it be right to make? That's all. So Tenali stopped in the middle, in the midst. So why do you think, according to you, why Tenali stopped his dialogue in the middle? Because king became very angry. Once king decided to do something, nobody should interrupt him. King already fixed, already decided that Chitravarma will be the chief advisor. But who didn't like that idea? Tenali Ramakrishnan did not like that idea. He intruded into the conversation. He made an interference into the conversation between Chitravarma and king. So that made king very angry. Once king decided to make him as the chief advisor, he opposed the idea. So king became angry. When king became angry, he was so scared. Tenali was so scared and afraid of the king that he would do him something. Right? That fear made him stop the dialogue. That is possible answer. Why could not Ramakrishna complete his dialogue? Because king became angry when Tenali opposed the king's idea to make Chitravarma as the chief advisor. Let us move on to next question. Why did the king make Chitravarma the chief advisor? Very simple. As king was pleased to see the paintings, or after seeing the paintings of Chitravarma, he decided to make him as the chief advisor. Let us move on to C. Was Chitravarma happy with the king's decision? Of course, initially he felt very happy, but after realizing the truth, he was not at all happy. Let us move on to D. Who was Chitravarma? Chitravarma was the most famous painter in Sri Krishna Devaraya's court, or in the court of Vijayanagara Empire. Let us move on to the last question. Do you think the king's decision is correct, and why? See, what decision had been taken by the king? He wanted to appoint Chitravarma, a painter, as the chief advisor. Obviously, that decision is not correct, because one should be appointed in that position if he deserves that, if he had an eligibility and qualification to work in that job. Right? Only the persons who are suitable for that particular position should be selected, should be appointed in that position. So others should not be appointed without qualification, without eligibility. If they don't deserve that position, then the respective persons should not be appointed. So obviously the king's decision is wrong. Why? Another question is there in the same question. The king's decision is wrong because a painter cannot work effectively as the chief advisor. That is the reason. Let us move on to the third paragraph. First question. See, I am going to questions directly. You just go through the paragraph before writing answers at least 2 times. First one. Why did the king present the baby a gold chain? Because Tenali Raman invited King Sri Krishna Devaraya to attend his son's naming ceremony. So when he attended to naming ceremony, then it is usual. Everybody, even if your parents, or even if I was invited to somebody's naming ceremony, then I will take a present. I will buy and take a gift along with me. That is a tradition in Hindu. It is a Hindu's tradition to give gifts on the occasion of naming ceremonies. See, even if we are poor, we have to give gifts. But he is a king. As a king, definitely he should give a valuable, costly and expensive gift. So simple answer, as king was invited to attend the naming ceremony of Tenali's sons, he presented the baby with a gold chain. Let us move on to second question. Why were the dishes horrible? It means dishes were not tasty because the foods were salty and spicy. As the foods were salty and spicy, the foods were horrible. Let us move on to the next question. What is next question? Which is in the next page. Where was the king? The king was in Tenali's house. He attended for the event. What is that event? He attended for the event of Tenali's son naming ceremony. That was the event. And let us move on to next question. Who cooked the dishes? See, a carpenter cooked the dishes. He did not appoint a cook or a chef to cook the dishes because Tenali wanted king to realize his mistake. See, he appointed a painter as the chief advisor to realize that mistake. What did Tenali do? He appointed a carpenter as the cook. And he proved. What did Tenali prove? A carpenter cannot cook foods deliciously. By showing this example, he proved in front of king that a painter cannot work as the chief advisor. So to prove that, he intentionally recruited or appointed the carpenter as the cook. So who cooked the dishes? Dishes means foods. A carpenter cooked the dishes, and he doesn't know how to cook the food. That is why foods are very horrible, because the foods were too spicy and too salty. Let us move on to the last question of third paragraph. Who made the king realize his mistake? Obviously and undoubtedly Tenali Ramakrishna made the king realize his mistake. So these are possible answers for first three paragraphs. We will continue the remaining paragraphs after completion of that lesson. See, for first lesson only 3 paragraphs. So you also, after going through the video, write answers for these 3 videos. That's enough. From 4th onwards, we are going to see that in the next session. So until then, take care of you and do all the tasks that are given to you. Let us meet in the next class.